Backstage with Mothership on Solid Rock Radio begins now. Hear the best in new music, artist interviews, stories from the road, and more. You are now backstage, and here's your host, Mothership.
Hey, everybody. My guest tonight is Casey Price of Forsaken Hero. Longtime friend on social media, but the very first time I met him was at the Grizzly Awards, and he was playing guitar for the Midnight Wedding. I hope you enjoy learning more about him and Forsaken Hero tonight.
Hey, Casey.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. We've known each other for how many years?
I was trying to think about it the other day. I'd have to say it's been probably since 2015, 2014, somewhere in that area. It's been a while.
We've done all kinds of stuff together on Facebook, but this is really the first time we ever had met at the Grizzly Awards. And you were playing for...
I was playing guitar for the Midnight Wedding.
Is that the first time you'd played with them?
Yeah, it was the first time. I had learned the songs last year for Kingdom Come Fest, but that was back when if you were around someone that had COVID, you had to wait like 2 weeks to even get your results back, basically, because that was still early on in the pandemic. So Brandon and Caitlin had been around somebody at work that had the virus, and they just had to automatically just basically drop out of playing at the show. So like I had already learned every single song that I had played, at their album release before the Grizzlies and at the Grizzlies. But like I learned them like a year ago and just now finally got to play them.
Cool. You have your own band. How long has Forsaken Hero been out there?
Forsaken Hero has been a band since I was a sophomore in high school. It's been a band. I think we officially started the Facebook page for Forsaken Hero in 2011. So this is the 10-year anniversary of Forsaken Hero.
Wow. And you are in that band with your sister. Now, your sister has a really pretty voice.
Well, thank you.
How did it come about that you and your sister started this band, or did you start it and ask her to sing? How did that work?
Well, me and a friend started it in high school, and our mom was a singer, so we always had music in the family, and she was always going to sing at church events and different places and stuff. When we started the band, I was in high school, so I think Emily was 11 or 12. She wasn't really a part of it at the time, and she just would come to all the stuff we were doing because, my family was always helping out with anything we were playing at because we were mostly like doing events together, and she would always beg to sing a special song or whatever, so she would sing a song, and then I would have to listen an hour after the show to everybody telling me how much of a better singer Emily was than I was. So we eventually just had to let her start singing some songs in the group. And then she became, now her and I are the only original technical founding members of the band. And yeah, so it just kind of became like a brother-sister thing. It kind of became kind of like a For King and Country type thing where it became like the two siblings were the band and then started bringing on other people for the road and things like that.
One of the first impressions that I had of you, you were a real go-getter. You know what you want, and you go after it.
Oh, yeah. I'm very driven to get to where I want to go.
So how many different collabs have you done with different artists?
Oh, gosh.
I know I hooked you up with Tate Olson from Skillet once, so I know at least that one.
Yeah. Yeah, Tate Olson was on a song on the Anthem album. Jake Jones actually mixed and mastered that song. And then on this most recent album, the Quarantine Tapes, it has Lori Peters, the former drummer of Skillet, on it. It has Rico Thomas of New Song playing guitar on that same song. And it has Lori Peters and her husband and their band Emerald Escape. They are on that song. I'm trying to think. On that same album, Brooks Durkowski's group, the Grand Theft Pineapple, they're on the album. And We Are Called is on the album on our song Drop Your Chains, and DJ from We Are Called has kind of become like my writing partner since we did that song together, and he actually has started mixing and mastering most of our songs now and other artists that I work with, so he's become kind of an integral part of the music machine that we have created. But back when we were like a rock band, like a heavier rock band, before we kind of like got into more of the pop rock, when we were doing more of the heavier stuff right out of high school, we were working with like John Lowry of Petra was mastering our songs, and we had a song with Brooks Holt of We As Human, Andrew Welch of Disciple and Thousand Foot Crutch, and different people. And Rico Thomas did a hard rock song with us too about 3 years ago, before we kind of made the switch to kind of more like the pop rock CCM kind of rock sound.
Now, how did you hook up with Rico?
There was this church in our area that we have what's our town, which is Marion, Virginia, but then there's this kind of smaller town that's just kind of in the middle of nowhere called Sugar Grove. They don't have cell service or anything, but the preacher and the elders at this church just loved New Song so much, and they would like bring them in every year to do a free concert. And so I would go see them at Winter Jam, but then I heard that they were coming to my area in the middle of nowhere town, and they came for like 6 years in a row. So I would go and just help out for free, just come and just be an extra set of hands. I didn't know anybody. I would just show up and start helping out. And him and I just started talking about guitars one day, and I was a big fan of New Song, but I mean, when I was a kid, like DC Talk and stuff like that was the big thing that I was super into. And one time when I was hanging out with Rico at one of those shows, I think I was asking him why sometimes a band will have a song in a certain key on their album, but then when they're playing it live, like it's in a different key, because I was trying to learn how to play Jesus Freak, and on the album it's in the key of F, but live they do it in the key of E. And I was like, why is that a thing? Why do bands do that? He's like, oh, well, when I played Jesus Freak back in the 90s, it was because it was too high for them to sing all the parts, so they would kind of drop it down a little bit so it was more comfortable in their voices every night. And I was like, wait, what do you mean he was like, yeah, I was the guitarist for DC Talk on the Jesus Freak tour. And I was like, what? And so I became even bigger of a fan of him at that point, and we've just become good friends over the years, and we hang out a lot, and like we even had coffee right before the Grizzlies 2 weeks ago. So we just catch up anytime we're around. We just talk music and just talk Jesus and stuff.
Sounds like there's like a little mentor thing going on there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for a long time. Like anytime I had questions about, like when I was kind of still starting out, anytime I had questions about guitar or touring or anything like that, he was always the person that I would ask. He was the only person that would put up with my, I guess, constant messaging and questions and stuff like that.
Well, he is very talented.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm watching New Song, I want to watch him play.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Especially, a lot of like kind of some of the older songs they did that had a lot more like the guitar solos and stuff, and they'd really rock out live.
Yeah.
Backstage with Mothership returns after this. You're listening to Backstage with Mothership on Solid Rock Radio. Check us out on Facebook at I'm with Mothership.
What's new with Forsaken Hero?
Well, we just got signed on to do Kingdom Come Fest again this year. This will be our third year at Kingdom Come, and we hope to see you there. But so we always love doing that because that's a awesome festival that we get to be a part of with people like the Protest and Disciple and just all the great, nice, friendly, awesome people in rock and roll and Christian rock that make playing music and having camaraderie with other artists really worth it. So we're doing that. That's kind of like really the only like show we've got on the books right now, just because a lot of places are still kind of nervous about having shows and concerts. It's looking brighter in the future though. But we have a new song. But we had come out with the Quarantine Tapes album last year, and we had a Christmas song that came out last year, and now we have a new single that came out on March 5th. It is a cover of Bethel's song, God of Revival, because I've always loved playing that song at church from the first time I heard it, but the song is kind of like really slow and piano driven, and then it gets like really big and heavy at the end of the song, and I'm like, man, it would be awesome if the song had that heaviness right from the beginning of it. So we made a cover of it where it starts out real big with big orchestral strings, and the strings are hitting really hard, and we come in with a big like unison like choir chorus punch that I really love about it. A lot of times when a new worship song comes out, like 100 worship bands cover it, and I listen to every single version of it that anybody else has covered, and it all sounds exactly the same, starting off with the slow piano. So I'm really excited for people to hear our version of it and to just hear how we changed it up.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to hear it.
You've got the single coming out. Are you looking to do an album, or are you just kind of sitting back waiting to see what's happening? Are you working on new music?
Sitting back right now just because we kind of did a whole lot of new music last year, so we're just kind of sitting back and seeing what happens. The cool thing is, after we worked with Josiah Prince on our Anthem album for a while, I kind of learned a lot from him about production and things like that. So during the pandemic, I actually sold a song to an upcoming like Hallmark movie, and that kind of gave me kind of the money to be able to start up my own studio at my house and just kind of have my own studio gear and all that. Yeah, that's how we did Quarantine Tapes all on our own. I don't know when it's coming out, but I wrote the theme song for a Hallmark movie.
Did you ever think that would come out of your mouth?
I mean, yeah, like, because I have really wild dreams. I know a lot of people answer questions like that. They're like, oh, I never thought this would happen. But, I've always had insanely wild dreams. So, yes, I did, but I'm still blessed. And I'm starting to work with other artists, too. So that's a lot of fun because I've already had a couple several artists bring me songs, and that I started just helping people with demos because, like, there's an artist named Faith. I kind of helped her with demos. She had lyrics, and I just put all the music to them. And hopefully in the near future, we're going to start actually, now that I'm fully producing for other people. I worked with an artist named Melanie Beeman and did a couple songs with her. And I'm working with a new artist that's about to come out with a new single that literally just got finished being mastered today. So there's a lot of stuff going on there that I'm really excited about, getting to work with other people too and help them create their music. And I'm working as like a social media marketing person for an artist called Just Faith, who's like a heavy metal type Christian artist. Some of her songs are going to be almost more like a Billie Eilish type style, so it's really different. So I'm really excited for people to start hearing her music when it comes out, because I'm kind of helping her get more out there before her single comes out. And she's got a single coming out on March 19th called Trailblazer.
Wow. So you have a lot of irons in the fire. I didn't know this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm staying really busy with all the music stuff right now. You know, I do want to sit down and work on some more Forsaken Hero music, and I will, but it's just right now I'm just working with like 5 different artists at the moment.
What about sister? What is she doing?
My sister, she's working a couple jobs. Her big thing is, like, even though we're not doing a lot of touring and stuff, she is still wanting to travel. So she's always planning trips to different places and stuff. So she's working a lot to just save up the money to do those things, because that's really one of her big passions, is traveling.
Does she want to go overseas, or does she like to see the U.S.?
I'm sure she does eventually, because Paris is her big goal that she wants to hit one day. But I mean, right now it's just, kind of getting all over the U.S. and getting to see all the different stuff. So we're going to be doing some trips throughout the year.
I think everybody should go to Europe at least once in their life.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, for sure. And I'm really hopeful of doing that, because I've wanted to go to Europe for a long time. So I know that Midnight Wedding they have a lot of fans in Europe and friends there. So I know that they have plans eventually to go back to Europe and stuff. So even if it was with them, I would really enjoy that.
Now, have you done any other filling in for any other bands?
In 2019, I played with As We Are on their solo tour, and then when they went with Sanctus Real for a couple dates in October of 2019. So I did about probably 10 or 15 shows with them, I think. They were kind of pop rock at the time, but I think their new stuff that they're starting to release is a little bit heavier, because like Eli Gallinger plays guitar for them and writes a lot of the guitar parts, and he's in the Persuaded now as well, and he played with us at Kingdom Come Fest last year too, because he did the bass on Drop Your Chains, and I think he did some of the lead guitar on Drop Your Chains on our Quarantine Tapes album. So yeah, they were cool guys. They were kind of like my first taste of touring the country, because like we had been to Indiana and stuff like that as Forsaken Hero and North Carolina and places like that, but this was the first time I was in like New Mexico and Texas and Alabama and all that, so it was like, whoa, like whole new world.
So when you are touring, tell me, what are your favorite snacks?
Favorite snacks while touring? I love Doritos, so I'm always wanting Doritos no matter where I'm at. I have to have at least one Monster a day, or I feel like I'm totally either dead to the world or too hyper, because a Monster kind of like levels me out. Like a lot of people drink it for energy. I drink it just to be able to like focus and be kind of leveled out, because I have ADHD and stuff, and I feel like it's almost kind of like a easy medicine for me, because it just kind of helps me kind of just feel like relaxed and focused.
Do you do the Monster Zero, or do you do the regular Monster?
I only like the original green Monster, and like I'm very particular about it. Now I can drink another one, like, because I know you had like the white Zero ones at the Grizzlies, and I drank it, and that's fine. But if I have to like pick, it would always be the normal green one.
Well, what about Emily? What is she like?
Emily is she's always on like some different trend or something. So she always has these random like diet cookies and different stuff like that. So a lot of times she has things like that she's trying out. But if she's just saying like, oh, this is my week that I'm just going to eat whatever while we're on the road, she wants shark or whale gummies. Those are her favorite things. But I'm not too hard to impress when it comes to candy. I'll eat pretty much any candy.
You didn't starve to death at the Grizzlies.
No, not at all. We was eating good at the Grizzlies. Everybody's always like, you have to try Sydney's banana pudding. The banana pudding. You haven't lived until you've had the banana pudding. So I ate it. I hate bananas, but I ate it, and I still enjoyed it. But then when I found out you had the pudding without bananas, like that was pristine. Like when I had that, I was like, this is heaven in a cup. I can die a happy man now. I've had the banana pudding. Well, I mean, everybody finds out the secret is true, so.
Oh, my goodness. I keep trying to tell people it's just pudding.
Backstage with Mothership returns after this. Check us out on Facebook at I'm with Mothership.
Back to music.
All right.
Tell me your favorite Forsaken Hero song.
Ooh, that's like asking somebody to pick their favorite kid. I don't know.
All of them are your babies. I know that.
Man, that's tough.
Exactly. I know. There can be a specific reason for it. Maybe why it was written, when it was written. The lyric could be anything about that makes it special to your heart.
I would almost have to say Shadow of Your Wings, just because we had so much fun kind of making that. And that was that was probably the song I learned the most about production-wise, watching Josiah work on it. Either that one or Born in Bethlehem. But Born in Bethlehem holds a special place in my heart, but it's a Christmas song. Where Shadow of Your Wings is one of those songs about like me talking to God kind of song. And it was a song that had a lot more fluff lyrics in it. And Josiah, really cracked down and was like, hey, this part doesn't work. You got to take it out. And that was something that was hard for me, but helped me as an artist to learn to get the most important point across when writing your song. And the thing that's going to touch the people the most, and it's going to really get to the hearts of people and to the heart of God. So that was something I learned in that process, and that's why it's close to my heart. And I would say, this is going to sound crazy, but a close second would actually be a cover, which it's on our Anthem album as well, because it was the first song I produced, so it's close to me because it was the first song that I actually like full on produced and had sent off to mix and master and all that. And it was our cover of From Now On from The Greatest Showman, because that movie kind of changed my life, because Carrie and I, my now wife, went to see it on our first date, and the music of it just had me hooked from the beginning of the movie, and it just meant something on such an emotional level with me about the song. Like every single song in the movie touched me in a different way, and I was like, that's the kind of music that I want to write. Like I want to write music that's rocking and fun, but I want to write music that's an anthem that people are going to want to sing along to, and that it's going to hit you right in the heart when you hear it. And that From Now On song, even because the character, Hugh Jackman's character, is singing about realizing how he was stuck on wanting money and then realizing how he needed to appreciate the things that were in front of him. And I kind of took it from a prodigal son perspective, even the first time I heard it. And so that's why we did a recording of it. And the music video has the style of like, it's like a prodigal son returning to God kind of thing. That movie and that music just means so much to me. And I even sang one of the songs from it when I proposed to Carrie. The pianist at our wedding played some of it before she walked down the aisle, and then we danced to the song A Million Dreams at our wedding and stuff. So that movie and the music from that movie just really speaks to me on a deep level. So when I listen to that song, it culminates everything for me with that.
Oh. How old were you when you knew that you wanted to start a band or wanted to be in a band?
I mean, with my mom being a singer as a kid, I was always singing from the beginning. When I was a kid, I went to school and everybody was like, oh man, you got to listen to this AC/DC record, or oh man, you got to listen to this Slayer song. Like we're like talking intermediate school and kids are already listening to AC/DC and Slayer and Metallica, which is fine and good and all that. But my dad was like, man, I just don't know if you can listen to it, but I just don't know if that's the message I want you getting just yet at this age. And he was like, here, how about you check this out? And he had like this old stereo system that could actually get really loud. And all I'd ever known up at that point, my dad listening to was like Johnny Cash and stuff. It was like, he had kind of like put the rock music away and kind of gotten into just like country. I mean, Johnny Cash is rock to some extent, but he just found the Stryper Soldiers Under Command and popped the tape in. And the second it started off and it was just that, I was just like hooked from the first 3 seconds. And so it was like Stryper, so then the first thing I did was like when I started learning guitar, I was trying to learn how to drop tune my guitar and learn how to play those notes the way they played it. And like Stryper really got me into wanting to play rock music. And then after Stryper, it quickly became Skillet and bands like that and Fireflight. And those were the top 3 when I was a kid. It was like Become Good Enough to do a show with Stryper, Skillet, and Fireflight. As of right now, in 2016, we played 2 shows with Stryper. We were on their Fallen tour and their To Hell with the Devil 30th anniversary tour. And in 2019, we did Kingdom Come Fest with Fireflight. So I've got 2 of the main bucket list stuff cut off, and I've just got to get Skillet off, and then I'll be good to go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that I have not touched on that you would like people to know about Forsaken Hero, your music, your ministry?
No matter what kind of song that Forsaken Hero is playing or what kind of song you're hearing from us, that our hearts are always God-focused and that we're always focused on ministry and winning souls, even if the lyrics we're singing aren't 100% saying that directly, because I know that's a thing that people have issue with sometimes. No matter what, even if we're just singing a fun song about Jesus, a fun poppy song, we're still focused on wanting people to hear it, to be engaged, and to learn more about God and to grow closer to Him. Because at the center of it all, no matter how far we go along with this, at the beginning and at the end of it, it's all for God and it's all for His ministry and to grow His kingdom.
Amen. Well, Casey, it's been nice talking to you tonight.
Well, I've enjoyed talking to you too.
We'll do it again, and I hope to see you again out there somewhere on the road.
Yeah, hope so. Hopefully you'll be able to come rock with us in Indiana in the near future, if you can make it up to Kingdom Come Fest.
I hope so. It's getting harder and harder for this old lady to travel now.
Oh, I understand. You should just see if they'll fly you out or something.
I appreciate the invitation. We'll do our best. Thanks again. Good night.
Good night.